beating your doggone chest right now. Can you feel that? Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man? Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to This Week in Madden for Week 2. I'm your host, ZFarls from Madden Bible. Today we're going to bring you a jam-packed show filled with all the top stories in the Madden community. Now let's get started. Now first thing up, Madden 10 was released last Friday, and the pulse was huge. The vibe surrounding the community for this event was great, enormous. Midnight releases all over the town. Online forums were filled with people learning about the game, getting excited for all the new features like For Fumble, online franchise, and things of that matter. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the new features for Madden 10. We had online franchise being one of the most discussed features of all time. Games like NHL 09 made their living off this feature, the ability to have users come together and collaborate on a franchise. Now here's the main online franchise screen. This is where you go into your franchise and are able to make trades, have a fantasy draft, play your games, and all the things that relate around online franchise. One player takes over this as commissioner, and you guys all log on, you get your week ready, and then you go advance to the next week. It works very well. Now, one problem that we hear people are having with the online franchise are that the game speed is too fast. Now, the demo came out and the game speed was a little bit slow. People kind of had their questions. And then the game came out. I've played plenty of ranked matches online, and I thought the speed was perfect right on EA. However, online franchise, the speed seems to be a little bit quicker, and since they tend to be more sim-type players playing this game who like a little bit slower speed, it just seems to be a little bit out of their wheelhouse. So EA, I expect them to look into this matter and determine whether or not online franchise speed will be slowed down just a little bit. Another thing with online franchise are the rosters. Now we have roster updates confirmed for Wednesday, which is tomorrow. They will include Michael Vick, and they may even include Brett Favre, who just signed this afternoon. So a lot of people are waiting to start their online franchise until they get the new rosters. I wonder if EA will be able to get Brett Favre in the game, and whether or not that will hinder online franchise even further. So those are two places that I look for EA to have some quick answers for us, and definitely hear their feedback from the community, which they have been doing an excellent job of during Madden 10. That's all for online franchise. Now, one other thing regarding the rosters. Michael Vick has recently signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. He will be in the game playable this Wednesday. Now, what does that mean? Later in the show, I will be joined by Madden Bible co-host Sgibs 7. We will debate whether or not Michael Vick deserves the rating he got, what he will bring to the Eagles, and how he can be utilized most effectively. So stay tuned later in the show when I bring in Sgibs and we battle on whether or not Michael Vick will make the Eagles better.
Don't hold back, 'cause you woke up in the morning with initiative to move, so I make it harder. Don't hold back.
Hi, and welcome to In the Trenches. I'm ZFarls, the host here with Sgibs from Madden Bible, and today we're going to debate whether or not you'd rather have Brett Favre or Michael Vick. They were the most recently added players on the rosters as of 8/19, so let's hear what we think about it. Steve, who would you rather have, Michael Vick or Brett Favre?
Certainly interesting debate. I think that all the fanboys out there especially want to go with Vick. I hate to say that I might be a fanboy, Zach, but Michael Vick in Madden, at least in Madden terms, he is an absolute monster. He's got 90 speed. He's got 93 throw power. What my favorite stat about Michael Vick is, though, he has 95 throw in the run. All right. I mean, I know what Brett Favre can bring to the table. He's got very strong arm, but other than that, I gotta give it to Vick.
Well, here's the thing: is I'm gonna have to go with Brett Favre. Now, you made a good argument for Michael Vick, but the thing is, I know that you had a personal relationship with Michael Vick in 07, and you used him to your advantage to get to where you are. However, other people who run the Wildcat and now all of a sudden think that just because they have Michael Vick that they're going to be able to become superstars with the Wildcat. It doesn't work like that, Steve. This isn't PS2. You don't have him able to run wild. He's not quite as fast as he was back then. I mean, the freaking guy's in a prison cell. Who's to say the next update his ratings don't drop tremendously? He's only going to be able to play for 6 weeks. Anyway, also, one other thing is Brett Favre, you have tremendous weapons. just like the Eagles, they have great speed on the outside. They have a better running back, the best running back in the game. And then their defense, the O-line's better, the D-line's better secondary. It's just, while they're not quite as fast, they're just a solid team. So I think Brett Favre brings more to the Falcons. Brings more to the Vikings than he brings to the Eagles. You already had McNabb. What, are you going to take him off the field? Are you going to take one of your best players off the field for a lot of snaps? No. Taking Devarius Jackson on the field, that doesn't do anything. Now he doesn't have to carry the team. It's so much better.
See, I completely disagree. I know I like your point about you have Peterson. Well, we have Brian Westbrook. I like the point you say you have Bernard Berry and you had Percy Harvin. Well, we have Jeremy Maclin and we have Deshaun Jackson. Okay, we can complement your weapons and then give you more. We can give you Michael Vick. I'm telling you, this game is catered to the PS2 style, what it used to be. Okay.
How about in PS2 days when you didn't have tremendous amounts of defensive playmakers? Contains that actually work.
That was tough.
Spies that actually work, like in the next gen series. Michael Vick's not going to be the same guy.
I totally disagree. We're going to be putting out an offense that I'm working on right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to tell you right now, Michael Vick is an absolute stud. All right? There's no way around it. I will play you. Actually, I'm going to challenge you right here, right now, Michael Vick and my Philadelphia Eagles versus Brett Favre and your Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I guess this is the time where I say I have seen the Eagles' offense, and it is pretty fierce. Vick will obviously only add to that. He's got more speed than McNabb. So, I hate Brett Favre just because of the whole media frenzy, and he just wasted a lot of time in my life. But I think Sgibs could be right here. But just remember, guys, if you do go against somebody that does face off with Michael Vick, remember what we taught you at the Madden Bible. Use your defensive playmakers. Just because they use them doesn't make them a good player. You're going to get a lot of kids on there just running around like a wild person, throwing off their back foot. Look to take advantage, keep the pressure on them. So while Vick is definitely more of a threat when properly used, he's definitely more negligent when used improperly. While Favre is going to be catered to the more player who likes to play a realistic offense. Give it to Peterson, fast receiver, stuff like that. So whether or not you want to choose Mike Vick or Brett Favre, this has been the battle in the trenches on This Week in Madden with ZFarls and Sgibs.
We'll see you guys next week.
Fight for Fumble mode seems to be received pretty positively by the community. Overall, it's a good little mode that kind of gets your blood pumping when you see a fumble. It gives you a second to register that it's going to happen, and then you just start tapping the buttons away. Now, if you're decent enough, you're probably not going to change hands because the person who recovers the fumble actually gets such a boost when to start out. But if you're not paying attention, then it is something that can get ripped out of your hands. So stay tuned for more info on Fight for Fumble. However, for now, it seems to be working pretty well and really gives the game just, a little fun sense that randomly occurs. Another big question in the online community is accelerated clock. When Madden came out this year, the ranked games play with a 15-second accelerated clock. So if you pick your play around 30 seconds, by the time you get out there, you only have about 15 to 12 seconds left to manipulate your guys and move them around the field. This was one area where developer Ian Cummings wanted to make sure gamers weren't abusing, so that they wouldn't come out in certain sets and then audible back and hot route over and over and over again. This seems to have solved the problem for the most part. However, gamers who play in this style really like to kind of maneuver the game, and they play Madden. They're not trying to play simulation football. So does this hurt the community? Well, the feel from the online boards are some people like it and some people don't, and that's what it all boils down to. Whether you have Fight Night where users want the analog stick or they want button controls, the issues seem to be split down the middle. Someone had to make a decision, and I respect Ian Cummings and EA Sports for coming up with the idea to accelerate clock. When you have people who run the clock during the game and slow down the game, it's just very frustrating to sit there and literally waste 20 to 25 seconds of your time. If you're confident enough in your gameplay ability and you come out and pick your play quickly, you'll have enough time to make enough adjustments where you'll never be put at a tactical advantage. However, you won't have enough time to manipulate the game and screw over the AI, which is a good thing for all Madden players. So I do commend EA Sports on their accelerated clock issue, and I really think that adds a lot to the gameplay.
Click here for part 2 of This Week in Madden's Sgibs Tip of the Week.